Jerry Agar in for Ezra Levant. So if we could just take more than 10 seconds out of the life of all you Gen Y viewers, could we have a more than just the surface conversation about political activism, what it is, what it isn't? Radio producer Jordan Whalen wrote an article for Huffington Post on slacktivism, and he was attacked for it. I spoke with him yesterday. Jerry Agar for Ezra Levant. One of my co-workers at the radio station where I work, News Talk 1010 in Toronto, got into heat with his own community, so to speak. Jordan Whalen is here. Jordan, you're a young gay man, and you were implored by some people to put up a sign that showed that you would support gay marriage in the United States, like a Canadian weighing in would make any difference to the Supreme Court.
Absolutely.
But you took exception to what they wanted you to do.
I took exception because of the first people that started putting it up, but the main reason I took exception with it is because it's part of a culture that I had been talking about with you, is this slacktivism aspect, where people think that just because they've done 10 seconds of their time, that they're part of a community, that they're part of a campaign, they're part of a thrust. And the main issue I had was that I think that personally it's a slight to people who are true activists, who have put their livelihood on the line for a cause,
right.
And then these people kind of come forward and say, you know, I'm part of this, I'm doing this, they said to me, the main point was, well, don't you think it's better than nothing? And I said, you know what, I think this cause deserves more. I think many causes deserve more.
Sure.
But to say it's better than nothing, I just think that's so depressing of my generation.
You know, I actually think to some degree nothing would actually be better. If you're that disinterested, then just stay disinterested.
Save the 10 seconds to do something else.
That's
exactly.
right, do something useful.
Yeah.
You know, but we see a lot of this, especially now with social media, where it's just click here to join. They don't actually join.
No, and what it's really about is, I think it has a narcissistic component to it.
Yeah.
And that's saying, you know, I wrote about my meal yesterday, and I wrote about me going to the gym, but now I'm going to tell you about how I'm an activist, because I clicked this. I'm going to show you how great I am. I'm going to show you this cause, but they don't know a lot about it. They weren't there for the initial cause. And what I had said about the Prop 8 thing to you is that, you know, this is part of an appeal, but where were these people during the initial cause? Where were these people during other causes, major causes? It's always the cool cause. It's always the cause that's on TV. The
Sure.
It Gets Better campaign is a great example of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's the now. You're part of it. You're great.
Well, we're seeing that in Canada right now when you just mentioned the cool cause. Here's a cool cause. Join up with Justin Trudeau. But then Justin found out that these people joining up weren't actually really taking the next step and paying a fee and becoming a member of the Liberal Party. They were just being cool with Justin.
Well, and also there's no link. So what the HRC said was, we want this profile picture, and what we want to do in this profile picture is show you solidarity. But it had no link to a financial thrust. It didn't have any type of, you know, how you could do something else, whether you're writing a senator, whether you're penning an op-ed. It was just a red picture. And when I initially saw it, I said, is this some type of AIDS campaign or something like that? Because it was all red on my Facebook. And so I thought that was kind of interesting to say, so you haven't connected it to Part B. You're just giving me Part A, and something like this is never the first step. Changing your picture shouldn't be the first step. Maybe it's the last step after you've done something, but it shouldn't be the first step, and it shouldn't be the only step.
You know, I saw this when I lived in the United States, to tie it back to what I said about Justin Trudeau. You'd have a lot of alternative music stations trying to sign people up for Rock the Vote. And it would be, oh, dude, they sign up. But they don't vote.
No.
And, you know, because actually contacting your MP, your MPP, it doesn't take a tremendous amount of effort, but it does take more than click.
But we don't have time for that, Jerry. We got other things to do.
Yeah.
That's the joke of what I always say is,
okay,
you know?
One more thing, though, before I finish with you, Jordan, here. I started out by saying you kind of came under attack from your community. You were supporting a gay issue, gay marriage in the United States, and then you wrote this article for Huffington Post about slacktivism, and they put more energy into attacking you than they did into doing something about the event.
Right, and the number one criticism of me was that I was the cynic. So for calling out a small group of people and saying, I expect more from you, I want more, you can do more, we can be radical, we can move. I'm the cynic because I expect more from a group of people, you know, that had said that this was enough of what it deserves. I think, to be honest, I'm the optimist in that situation to say we can move past this, we can move to something different.
Well, you had used in your article a great quote from George Carlin. Do you remember it?
Yeah, it's a cynic is actually a disappointed idealist.
Yeah.
And that the real cynics are the ones that tell you everything's going to be okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, if all you do is click and think something's going to happen, well, you're either a cynic or you're stupid. And what you're saying is you're an optimist because you believe if you actually do something, change might happen.
Absolutely. I think if you move it forward, and that, I think the main point is, I said there's people waiting to get on with their lives, and I'm a huge supporter of the cause. So what I had said initially is this cause deserves more, and I'm sure little steps eventually will do something, but all major civil rights movements weren't based on small steps. They were moved on radical steps, you know?
Yeah, Martin Luther King didn't say, click here. He said, march here.
Right, or Rosa Parks getting on the bus slowly kind of thing, you know? So I think there's people waiting to get on with their lives, and they deserve more. And interesting enough, Lieutenant Dan Choi was one of the guys against Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He's a big gay rights advocate. He actually chained himself to the White House. And
well, to the fence.
To the fence there. And what I had referenced him in the article. I said it's an insult to people like him.
Yeah.
And people had said, you know, I don't think this is an insult to him. I'm sure he's happy with this. He ended up retweeting my article and following me on Facebook.
So he was with you.
I think I struck a nerve. I'm not necessarily 100% on my side, but I think for someone like him, I would have anger inside me to say, you know, I did something else. Why can't you do anything else?
That's right. So if you're part of the young generation and you want the respect for your cause, respect from politicians, respect from, you know, old dudes like me, or whatever the situation might be, well, then stand up and do something.
Yeah.
That's all. Jordan, thank you.
Thanks a lot.